My dad hasn't been just an international star. He's left a lasting mark on WWE.
Ric Flair is and always will be the man.
He also influenced me as an athlete and performer, and he gave me a lot to live up to. I mean, he literally introduced me in my first NXT match against Bayley.
Ladies and gentlemen, my daughter, Charlotte.
The daughter of one of the great icons in the history of sports entertainment.
And I did pretty well in NXT, but I still felt like I had something to prove. I still needed to find my own voice as a competitor.
Oh, you're not getting cheered for?
And when I saw I was going up against Natalya, I finally had my opportunity. Natalya comes from a long line of WWE superstars, and she had her uncle Bret Hart at ringside, so I brought my dad. Not just for moral support, but because I wanted him there to see me continue the family legacy, to stand up and prove I was worthy of the name. So yeah, there was no way I was gonna lose this match. NXT was a fantastic experience. I mean, it's where we all got our start.
Those four women have completely changed the game.
This was before you saw a lot of the women's matches on the main roster. So NXT was a place where people like us could get a chance to find our style.
I'm the boss around here.
To really show what we can do.
What a match! What competition in this women's division!
We were all excited to join the ranks of WWE and to do it on our terms.
NXT wasn't just a chance to improve ourselves, but to improve the women's division as a whole, to put our stamp on it. So I was psyched to be in the Fatal 4-Way match against Bayley, Becky, and Charlotte.
For the first time in NXT history, a Fatal 4-Way match for the women's title.
But I was facing some of the strongest competitors in NXT in that match. Women I liked. I mean, Becky and I were practically partners. But at the end of the day, there could only be one boss. After the Fatal 4-Way, we were definitely on everybody's radar.
The Divas Revolution rolling on. These ladies raised the bar.
I had other superstars noticing how I handled myself in the ring. You'd hear rumors like, now we got everyone's attention.
At around the same time, the Give Divas a Chance hashtag really took off.
There was a match on Raw, Paige and Emma versus the Bella Twins, and it only lasted around 30 seconds.
Everyone's been talking about the hashtag Give Divas a Chance.
The WWE Universe, who had been watching not just WWE's women's division in action, but now also people like us in NXT, they knew that we were capable of more.
It is my honor to introduce to you tonight's first main event for the NXT Women's Championship.
This kind of match is why our women are co-main eventing tonight.
Bayley and I were scheduled to compete for the NXT Women's Championship. And we were willing to do whatever it took to beat each other, no matter how long it lasted, no matter how intense it got. And I wasn't gonna let an opportunity like that slip away.
All eyes were on us. The world asked WWE to give us a chance, and now we got it. And I wasn't gonna waste it. I had to win.
But you gotta say, one of the best matches in NXT history.
Bayley and Sasha's match was just incredible. That was the night the Four Horsewomen were born.
It made people sit up and pay attention. If you didn't know what we were capable of before that match, you sure knew afterward.
We have never seen something like that before. What a match!
That match didn't just change the way people looked at NXT. It changed the way they looked at women in WWE, period.
And of course, once you've had that kind of success, you gotta repeat it. Nobody wants to be a one-hit wonder.
So we went ahead and proved it again in an Iron Man rematch at NXT TakeOver Respect.
They tapped out! They tapped out!
These ladies raised the bar.
By now, the WWE Universe's reactions to our matches were undeniable. And that led to Sasha, Charlotte, and I getting bumped up to the main roster.
We weren't just fighting for ourselves. We were part of a revolution.
We were invited to SummerSlam for a 3-team elimination match, which was incredible. Not just the match, but being on such a big stage and thinking, okay, this is real. The women's revolution is in full swing.
But after the match, Becky and I had unfinished business with the Bella Twins. This is back when we were still, partners.
Becky and Charlotte were a great team. And they were best friends.
That was back before I got wise.
Anyway, we were still friends then, and we had to show the Bellas we were here to stay.
And after we beat Nikki and Brie on SmackDown, the Bellas knew we were a force.
I respected the Bellas and what they've done for the women's division, but I had my sights on the Divas Championship, and that meant I wasn't done with Nikki Bella.
It was the era of the 4 horsewomen.
Take a look at the future of women's wrestling.
The Bellas just didn't know it yet.
I knew that if I could take the championship from Nikki, I'd be the new face of the women's division. On the one hand, I'd be following in my father's footsteps, but I'd be doing it my way. I couldn't fail. Not with all that on the line. My reign as Divas champion was incredible. I didn't think it could get any better, but WrestleMania 32 changed everything.
In the space of one night, we went from being called divas to being called WWE superstars, same as the men. The Divas Championship was replaced with the Women's Championship.
And not only that, Sasha, Charlotte, and I would be competing for that new title in a triple threat at WrestleFreaking-Mania.
All 3 of these superstars, their first matches at WrestleMania.
When we drove up and looked at the stadium, the ad on the side had Becky, Charlotte, and me front and center.
As it should be, you know what I mean?
It was surreal. It was unthinkable.
A record crowd of over 100,000 for WrestleMania.
And of course, it was the biggest stage yet for the biggest title yet.
This is how you make an entrance at WrestleMania.
Again, my dad was there,
Accompanied by her father, the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
but I wasn't thinking about him. I was thinking about my own legacy. I was thinking about the championship.
And ladies and gentlemen, you're witnessing history here tonight at WrestleMania to crown the new women's champion.
Charlotte establishing dominance early on.
Oh!
Look out, look out. There's a roll-up.
Here's the cover and a kick out. Almost had her.
Becky Lynch putting some moves there on Sasha.
Now it's Becky with the advantage on Sasha.
Shoulders down yet again. Boss able to kick out at 2.
Great strategy by Lynch, looking to score an early pinfall.
Oh, the strength.
Becky looking for the backslide. Shoulders down now.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Rolling through here.
Good Lord.
Leg drop.
All these women trying to close this out early.
Triple threat rules. First woman to gain pinfall or submission wins. Boom.
Big boo.
Shining on the grandest stage of them all, as if there was any doubt in anyone's mind.
Sasha with a frog splash.
Oh, my goodness. This is incredible.
Sasha looking for the bank statement on Becky Lynch to win the championship. Charlotte gonna send Sasha flying out of the ring. Figure eight. What's Becky gonna do? What's Becky gonna do? Sasha, look at Flair. Flair's on Sasha. Flair on Sasha. Flair on Sasha.
That is absolutely ridiculous.
The fan reaction to our WrestleMania match was beyond anything I could have expected.
We saw history made tonight by 3 superstars.
A lot of people were saying it was their favorite match of the night, which damn right it was.
But I wasn't satisfied. Charlotte couldn't beat me on her own. She needed her daddy to keep me away from his little girl.
Sasha was a little jealous.
She's on the top of the mountain, she's the champ. But not for long, because these goosebumps she feels are for me. She may be the queen, but I'm the boss. And a few months later, at Raw, I got a chance to make that perfectly clear. And this time, Daddy wouldn't be around to help her.
Here we go, match underway for the WWE Women's Championship.
Tonight could be the night for Sasha Banks. She's been waiting so long for this opportunity, and tonight, the opportunity's knocking on her door.
Tonight could be the night Sasha finally realizes she is inferior to the queen. One-on-one for the championship for the first time ever. 2 long-time rivals.
These 2 women know each other so well. They're going to be able to meet each other at every single opportunity.
It's going to get gritty. It's going to get dirty, as we see from the opening bell. These 2 trying to out-muscle one another.
I don't know if that's a smart move from Sasha Banks.
Almost a slightly conservative approach. Neither one of these 2 want to make any early mistakes.
Can't afford to make any mistakes. And Charlotte backing Sasha into the corner.
Create a little bit of an opening here. Oh.
Banks out of the way. Banks with the roll-up, shoulders down on Charlotte, who kicks out.
Banks is going to have to do just that. Rely on her.
Raw had its own women's championship, which was all well and good, but us ladies on SmackDown were laying it all on the line without any title to speak of. Soon enough, WWE saw the kind of traction we women were getting.
The SmackDown Women's Division is on fire.
And they recognized our work with a new championship exclusive to the Blue brand. The first ever SmackDown Women's Championship was the prize. And all I had to do to get it was defeat 5 other women.
The first ever Women's Six-Pack Challenge.
The last woman standing will be crowned the first ever SmackDown Women's Champion.
All of them were just as hungry for the title as I was. Well, almost as hungry. I'd last kicked my way through NXT. I'd been on the stage at WrestleMania. But I didn't just come to show off. I came for a championship.
Everything I have fought for has led me to this moment.
The night of Backlash, I was straight to fire. And anyone in my way was going to get their head slapped off. The SmackDown Championship was mine. I was the first to ever hold it. And regardless of what happened after that night, you always remember the first. After everything I'd fought through, I'd finally been recognized for what I always knew I was. The champ.
2016 was the year of firsts. I got my first championship win. Becky became the first SmackDown Women's Champion. But maybe the biggest first of the year was at Hell in a Cell, where Charlotte and I were the main event. This was the first time the women's main evented a WWE pay-per-view.
Hell in a Cell is maybe the most punishing match style in the entire WWE. I remember watching Triple H and The Undertaker back at WrestleMania 28.
Or Mankind being thrown off the top of the cage in 1998.
But there'd never been a women's Hell in a Cell match, ever.
Usually you reserve those matches for the most heated, brutal rivalries. And that's exactly what Charlotte and I had.
Sasha had my championship. She didn't deserve it. I did. So yeah. I was excited to step into the cell with Sasha. It gave me an opportunity to give back what was mine in a structure so punishing. Nobody would be able to deny my victory.
And the cell is coming down, and can you imagine what is going through the minds of these two women.
So much stress, so much emotion to have the Hell in a Cell settling down around the ring. It's terrifying.
You can see the trepidation on both competitors' faces. It's just become real to them. They are locked inside this menacing structure, and the battle is about to begin.
Everybody knows that this kind of... Oh,
And Charlotte went right after Sasha.
Charlotte wasting no time with the cell still being lowered.
Charlotte realizes the magnitude of this situation, and she wants to reclaim her throne. There is no hesitation. The Queen is going to injure Sasha Banks before the cell even lowers.
It's not only about the championship, it's personal. Charlotte wants to shorten the career of Sasha Banks. And these two are outside the cell, guys.
Here we go. Women starting outside Hell in a Cell.
And look at now. Sasha gonna drive Charlotte in the barricade.
Sasha returning the favor to the Queen.
And she is out cold.
Oh, big moves here from Banks.
Gotta fight fire with fire. It's exactly what the boss is trying to do to the Queen.
Let's fight dirty.
This is bad. Oh, look at no. You can't climb up there.
That's what she's doing, Cole.
These women have heard they can't their entire careers. They're proving everybody wrong right out of the gate in Hell in a Cell.
I don't like this. I don't like this at all.
Bang off the cell.
Queen hanging on for dear life.
This being unfamiliar territory for these women, I see that they're using the scene pretty well.
Sasha's still planning.
Sasha Banks looking to get creative. Good night, Banks.
Are you kidding me?
Sasha's in trouble. I mean, she's in this much pain already. Whoa!
The referee's trying to check on Banks, trying to make sure she's physically able to continue this competition.
She can't walk.
Sasha barely able to make it to her feet.
Can imagine the frustration from Sasha Banks here, though. I mean, this moment, she's been waiting for this for so long.
Well, this hometown crowd trying to will Sasha Banks back into this match.
Banks doesn't need the support of the crowd. She needs a doctor.
This is not how Sasha wanted this to go down in her hometown.
In a bad way. Sasha can't even stand.
I mean, the officials may want to consider just calling this.
And it would be a darn shame.
I agree. It would be a darn shame, Michael, but you got to think about career longevity. You have to think about the health and the wellness of Sasha Banks.
This one's over before it even began.
Yeah, it's too bad, too. This was supposed to be an historic night.
Oh, no.
And, well, the EMTs have come out here now, and they've got the stretcher, and it looks like they're going to take Sasha back, and I hope Charlotte's proud of herself because nobody wanted to see this end like this.
We knew this was a dangerous matchup, a dangerous situation for both women, but you have to feel a little bit for Sasha Banks, never even getting the opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, Sasha Banks is unable to compete. Therefore, here is your winner due to forfeit, and the new...
Sasha, wait a minute!
I don't know about this.
Sasha back at her feet! Oh, and Sasha Banks!
Banks has lost it.
Sasha Banks is going after everyone in her path. Nobody's going to stand in her way here tonight.
Come on, Sasha.
Somebody needs to stop Banks for her own well-being.
The boss does what she wants when she wants.
We know Hell in a Cell can end people's careers, and right now Sasha Banks is in a bad way.
Back on SmackDown Live, Alexa Bliss had taken the championship from me and held on to it thanks to an alliance with somebody I never expected, Mickie James.
Becky Lynch looking like she'd seen a ghost. Mickie James just handed that championship to Alexa Bliss.
With Elimination Chamber coming up, I was hungry for some revenge. But at the same time, though, it was surreal.
Mickie's one of the greatest champions of all time.
I'd watch Mickie on Raw before I'd even started my career. I used to watch her and Trish and Lita growing up. So yeah, I'd kind of looked up to Mickie James in the past. By the time Elimination Chamber rolled around, those days were over.
Big match here tonight for Becky Lynch against the veteran Mickie James.
Huge for Mickie James. A lot of people are wondering if she's still got it. What's she gonna bring to the table?
Well, think about Becky Lynch, Renee. Think about how this would propel her.
Shoulders down.
A close call there. Think about how this would propel Becky Lynch's career to another level.
This is a
Shoulders
moment.
down again.
This is a moment that Becky Lynch has been waiting for. These women to all over the ring.
Yeah, rolling outside the ring now. Still locked up, Becky and Mickie.
Here we go, Becky Lynch, Mickie James. Two generational talents colliding.
These two ladies better watch the count.
Time to get back in the ring, ladies. Focus.
Becky standing toe-to-toe with Mickie James. Both women back in to break the count.
Both these ladies back in the ring, squaring off.
So by early 2017, things were going well.
It's Bayley, one of the most genuine superstars you will ever meet.
I transitioned fully from NXT to WWE's main roster, but I still wasn't satisfied. I didn't have a WWE championship, and of the 4 horsewomen, I was the only one who hadn't earned one. At this point, Charlotte was holding the title. She'd already had some incredible matches with Sasha.
Women will step foot inside Hell in a Cell. The Women's Championship will be decided in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Which meant that if I was going to come after her, I need to do what the boss couldn't.
And so comes to an end one of the great rivalries in WWE history.
Bayley was cute. She loved to talk about how ever since she was a little kid, she wanted to be a WWE champion. It was adorable.
I was so glad to be on the main roster, finally. But I still had something else I needed to do. Ever since I was 10, it was my dream to be a WWE champion. And on Raw, I finally got my chance. And Charlotte, she may be a Flair, she may be WWE royalty, she may be the queen, but me, I'm something much, much stronger. I'm a hugger.
The 4 horsemen weren't the only superstars doing serious work during the Women's Revolution. You can't talk about the Women's Revolution without mentioning Asuka and her incredible strike style, or Ember, her acrobatics, or Paige, Alexa Bliss, Naomi, Tamina, Alicia Fox. They were all tough competitors, every single one of them. And you can't forget about Nia Jax.
Perhaps the most powerful force the women's division has ever seen.
We met before, and it hadn't gone so great for me.
And Nia Jax beats the boss. Wow.
Then I fought her at Fastlane, and look, I'm the boss. It takes a lot to face me. But Nia Jax, well, she didn't compete like anyone I faced before.
I'm the boss!
And I mean, I still beat her. It's me we're talking about. But that wasn't easy.
Nia Jax is a force to be reckoned with.
Nia Jax is like nothing you've seen before.
You know, I'm strong. I'm confident.
Here comes Nia! Look at the power!
I make no apologies for who I am.
She completely shook up the division. We just didn't have anyone like her on the roster.
Which is why it was so great to face her at WrestleMania 33 in a fatal 4-way.
At WrestleMania, when I eliminate each and every one of you, that title is gonna have a permanent home.
Once again, we were on WWE's biggest stage.
WrestleMania. It's the exciting next step in the women's evolution.
The following contest is a fatal four-way elimination match for the Raw Women's Championship.
WrestleMania is every superstar's dream, you know? There's just nothing like it.
By WrestleMania 34, I'd competed in some high-profile matches at other WrestleManias.
Charlotte on the top rope. Moonsault! Moonsault by Charlotte!
But they don't get any less intense, any less nerve-wracking. And if you want to talk nerve-wracking, stepping into the ring with Asuka is not for the faint of heart.
Fasten your seatbelts. The Empress of Tomorrow has arrived.
With those blistering kicks. Asuka has the Asuka lock. Asuka is going to WrestleMania.
Asuka is a phenomenon, starting with her time in NXT through her run on WWE's main roster and going into WrestleMania 34. She was undefeated.
You'd wonder how she could have gone undefeated for so long, but when you see the way she moves in the ring, her speed, the power of her strikes.
Her streak lasted 914 days. 914 days until WrestleMania 34, until she faced me.
914 days without a loss. Asuka takes on Charlotte here tonight at WrestleMania.
The Empress of Tomorrow and the Queen doing battle on the grandest stage of them all.
Either way, history is being made. Will Asuka's undefeated streak end tonight at the hands of Charlotte Flair?
And here we are, the title versus the streak.
Charlotte looking to put on a clinic here tonight against perhaps the best in the world.
I don't know if this is a good idea, Charlotte.
Yeah, you do not want to incite the temper of Asuka.
Following WrestleMania 34, the women's division was in the best place it had ever been. We'd had great matches at WrestleMania. We were regular features on Raw, SmackDown, the pay-per-views, and sometimes we were main eventers. But all that was just a prelude to what came next.
Evolution.
The first ever all-women's pay-per-view. I can't even put into words how important this was.
It was confirmation that no, this isn't a fad. This isn't going away. That we're damn good at what we do, and we're here to stay.
But we couldn't just take it easy, you know? This was the biggest chance yet, and we had some serious competition. The Riot Squad.
Even before they joined forces back when they were in NXT, the members of the Riot Squad were dominant. Honestly, they reminded me a lot of the horsewomen in me. The same tenacity, the same charisma, the same drive to win.
We knew the Riot Squad wasn't gonna go down easy, so we teamed up with Natalya. It reminded me a lot of our NXT days, except this time, the stakes were much higher. It felt really good to team up with two people I respect, and we managed to get the big win that night.
Of course, there was a much bigger match that happened at Evolution between me and Blondie here.
Becky and I have had a complicated relationship.
What's complicated? She sucks. That's not complicated.
Becky and I were friends. Best friends since NXT. We had our matches against each other, but they were nothing personal until the day I won the SmackDown title in a triple threat match.
Natural selection! Charlotte Flair is a 7-time champion!
She snapped.
I saw things clearly for the first time. The friends aren't good for nothing except stabbing you in the back. Charlotte schemed her way into that triple threat. She should have never been competing for my title in the first place. And the WWE Universe agreed with me. Of course they did. Before that moment, I was really good. I'll give myself that. But after, I was unstoppable. I got my title back. I am the man. And I was gonna prove it at Evolution.
Evolution was the culmination of every struggle I had experienced in my career. Finding my own voice, proving myself on the main stage. Every setback, every heartbreak was all just a step on the road to the match at Evolution.
I'd crawled my way from the bottom all the way to the top. And in my match with Charlotte, I got to prove what everybody with half a brain already knew. I belonged there. This was a defining moment. Not just for me, not just for Charlotte, but for the entire women's division. At Evolution, we make history.
Having fought at Evolution, having been a part of the women's revolution, and having risen with the other 4 horsewomen up through NXT, I'm feeling good about the future of the women's division.
We weren't done. We wanted to see women headlining WrestleMania.
I'll admit, it's hard not to respect Ronda Rousey. She's done a lot for women in sports and entertainment, and it's easy to see her appeal.
From the moment she showed up in WWE, it was clear that Ronda was going to be in the spotlight.
Ronda Rousey's done it! Ronda Rousey's the Raw Women's Champion! One of the most dominating performances I have ever seen.
She took to the ring naturally, and her presence helped to elevate the division as a whole.
At first, a lot of us were happy to have her there. She had her fans in the locker room for sure.
But as good as she was, she sure seemed to enjoy the benefits of fame, just like a certain someone else.
She brought more eyes to the division, though, and we took advantage of that.
We've been pushing for the Women's Tag Team Championships for some time, and in February 2019, the titles were up for grabs.
A match will take place inside this dangerous, devastating elimination chamber to determine the first ever Women's Tag Team Champions.
And as we had before, Sasha and I made history becoming the first ever WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
The women's division had achieved so much throughout the year. And there was one more stop, WrestleMania.
I won the Royal Rumble in January and was headed for a title shot against Ronda Rousey at WrestleMania. With a few hurdles along the way.
We need someone who's gonna take Ronda to the limit. We need Charlotte Flair.
Becky snuck her way into the Rumble, and I got careless. We had all the momentum in the world leading up to April.
I had the WWE Universe behind me. And they started making it clear that they wanted to have the women main event on the grandest stage of them all.
The women's championship match kept getting bigger and bigger, and then the announcement was made.
For the first time in 35 years, our women will be the main event of WrestleMania.
But the news didn't stop there. One title on the line?
Charlotte Flair has done the unimaginable. She is the new SmackDown Women's Champion heading to WrestleMania.
Now the match was for 2.
Both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships were up for grabs going into WrestleMania. I had fought my whole career for this moment, and there was no way I wasn't walking out as champion.
This is what it's all about, the main event of WrestleMania.
It's been my goal, our goal, to main event WrestleMania. It was never just talk. It was the hard work of every woman, past and present, to get us here.
Oh!
These women are trailblazers through and through.
The bright lights, the big stage.
There's a certain energy here tonight.
All eyes were on that match. We knew what it meant.
Oh my God!
Times had changed, and anything was possible.
We knew all the work we had done throughout our careers had paid off. Not just for us, but for all of the women in WWE.
And all throughout this journey, it's been so satisfying to interact with the WWE Universe and know that they're with us. that they're just as excited about the future of the women's division as all of us are.
Thank you, guys. We did it!
Started it as a small ripple. It became a groundswell, and now this movement has taken over the world.
You know, we've all fought hard. We've all sacrificed a lot to get here, but we're not done yet. It's easy to look at WrestleMania 35 as the end of a journey, but it's not. It's the start of a new one.